Hello and welcome to the Young Entrepreneur Syndicate podcast. I've got Rod Kuntz with me and I'm Jim Riley. Thanks for tuning in. Rod, another week, another topic.
I love every day we do this, Jim. we just got off a very vigorous discussion. That's a good word for it, a vigorous discussion. And I'm fired up every day. It's Monday. It's a good day.
You know, Monday is a good day. I love my work days. Mondays tend to be my busiest days, but I was just thinking, you know, with intention, both of us have created the lives that we live currently based on everything that we've learned throughout our careers to get to this point. And I'm so satisfied with the decisions that I've made and how I got here. And I'm equally satisfied in the ability to help others do the same. And I know that might sound a little bit like a commercial, but I mean it with all sincerity. I'm happy and I want other people to be happy.
I don't think that's anything except maybe a Hallmark card. It could maybe be a movie. We need more people to just be content and happy and satisfied, because that's where all the discord and the dissension comes from, is unhappiness. So what can we do to help alleviate that problem? I think it's our life purpose is to, not just be happy ourselves, but to help other people find that happiness. I think you've hit the nail on the head.
And given them the skills to not only identify what they've done in their life to enhance where they're going, the things that you've learned along the way and applying those. But if you're just getting started, know that there is a great journey ahead of you filled with, it's going to be tough. It's not easy, but the reward is so great at the end of that tunnel. So I hope you're paying attention, take some notes, come back to the shows often if something resonated with you, and feel free to jump into the Young Entrepreneur Syndicate if you want more of this every Monday night, not to mention all the resources. Hey, by the way, Rod, I had one of our members call me over the weekend. He says, Jim, I love the call that you guys had. It was right spot on with the transition I'm making in a company. And it was all about bootstrapping versus investing. And he's like, but I know we need a plan. And can you remind me, is there a business plan on the back end of Young Entrepreneur Syndicate? And I said, well, of course there's. Go to documents and look for business plan examples. And then there's a short format there if you just want to do an abbreviated version. He's like, oh yeah, that's right. I love the fact that we've done the work and put the tools in place for people to utilize.
Well, and again, that's helping. That's what we do. And if we can make it easier for people to accomplish a daily task or a big task, then we've done something. We've done some good, and we've saved time. We've saved energy. We've saved heartache. We've saved them the stress of having to go out and figure it out on their own. We're doing what we were designed to do at this point in time. And it's kind of funny. I'm going to bring this up, Jim, because years ago, I was in my 30s and I had this idea for a company. And I said, everywhere I go, I see ways I could help people. And I wanted to start a little consulting thing called Optimum Performance. You're already performing. I want to help you optimize it, right?
Sure.
Just an outsider's view to do that. And I never did. I was sidetracked with other business ventures and other jobs and other duties and being a parent of 4 active children. And I never did it. And yet here we are today, doing what I had a dream of doing years ago, decades ago. And so it's very fulfilling. And I've been helping people all along the way, but now I get to focus that. Now it's like the magnifying glass and the sun coming in. I'm laser focusing that beam of light on the people who want to get ignited and start that fire. It's a neat thing.
What I appreciate about you, Rod, is that you're similar to me in the way that, and I know you're better at it because you've very organized, is that over the years, like when you've had ideas like that, you start little binders or folders or notes, and you've saved those over time. And I've done the same. So if you're listening and you're thinking about a business, or take the time to write down your thoughts, organize it somewhere, whether you do it now or not. It may play a role later in your life, and you'll be so grateful for at least just saving, even if it's one page of lined paper that you know where to find it again. There will be value there. I've got treasure troves of old documents that are bringing value to me today. Sometimes it's just relevant.
Right. And there's something about it. I preach on this all the time, right? There's something about the physical copy, the actual writing it down. And I'm talking ink and paper.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've gone through digital files on your computer and you're looking for, did I save that document? Where did I save it? What did I title it? And then you start looking 10, 20 years down the road. Do you think you're going to remember what you titled a document and where you filed it in your digital files? No. But it's just like picking up an old physical photograph as opposed to a digital photograph.
Mm-hmm.
There is something tangible that floods all those sensory input spots again, and it reignites you. And finding something physical today might be easier than finding something digital. So do write it down, put it in a notebook, put it in several notebooks, put it in multiple places. I don't care, but write it down.
Good point. Well, there's your first valuable lesson for the day. I haven't even got into my topic yet, but I interviewed a great guest for my other podcast this morning. And we were talking about, I was talking about soft skills. And I know that's an important thing that you and I talk about. And he corrected me. He's out of Switzerland. He's a business consultant, and he works in the world of what I called soft skills. He says, Jim, I don't like to call it soft skills. No offense. I said, really? He says, I call them essential skills. He says, because when you say you've got hard skills, you know how to do the math and the algebra or buy the wood or the materials, and you start calling it soft skills, people have a tendency to put those aside for a rainy day, and they never get to what he considered the most important skills you can learn in business. And I'm sure if you've listened to one or more of Rod and I shows here, we've talked about how important those soft skills are. That's what we teach in the Young Entrepreneur Syndicate, is those are critical to your success. But Rod, I think we might have to change our language to essential skills and drop the word soft, because the reality is that's what we've been saying all along.
Right. Well, and I'm all about rebranding, but how do we get that to resonate? Because if you're an engineering student, you want to get a job building bridges or buildings, right? It's hard skills they're looking for. And those hard skills are, in fact, essential skills in the engineering field, right? If you want to be an accountant, it's a play on words. Exactly. It is. It is. And so how do we shift that thinking? Because essential skills, you're absolutely right. But if they were essential, wouldn't you think they would teach them in school?
Oh my gosh.
Wouldn't you think that if it was something essential, and we all agree that they are, that there would be more emphasis placed on it in academia? And it's not. And that's my passion right there. Academia is failing us. Academia has failed us because they've taken essential skills out of the equation and replaced it with just hard skills. So,
well, fortunately for the future generation, you and I are working our tail off to try to spread this message as far and wide as possible by building out school curriculums. We're hoping to see this in some homeschool programs and charter schools. Right now, it's in one school here in Montana, and it's going quite well. And hopefully that meeting with the state superintendent will go somewhere with our curriculum, and we won't have this problem down the road, Rod, because of the work you and I are doing right now. So there you go.
Well, there you go. We're planting seeds. Seeds.
Today's topic is, it's like a game show. Today, it's funny. Every Sunday I go to church with the family, and the kids, like, hey, Dad, we're going, right? And I said, yep, we're going. But I've learned an essential skill every Sunday for the last, several months as it relates to business specifically, right? And this last weekend, what we talked about was helping others in the workplace. Good leaders show up with a mindset of helping others in the workplace. And if you think about that, and the way that our pastor put it, and I can't disagree with him because he's right on this. If we took an approach to help others, you walk into the office, you walk into the assembly line or wherever it is you work, and your first thought is to help somebody in their job while doing yours, instead of selfishly thinking, I got to get ahead, right? People want a ladder climb, and they forget that ladder that they're climbing is typically made up of other people, right? You're stepping on other people to get to the top. How about lifting those other people up And that might be counterintuitive to your thought process of being successful. But at the same time, what's really going to happen is by lifting them up, you will be lifted up by your superiors, seeing, what type of person you are on the job, how you are affecting the overall performance of the business. Because if you're lifting people up, they're going to be more productive. They're going to be able to do more. They're going to be more successful, and not being embarrassed if you don't know something, or being that person that can help somebody when they don't know something, and therefore just making it a better work environment. And if you extend that beyond work itself, into your home, right, or into the local grocery store, maybe helping somebody get something off the shelf. By helping others, not only can we see success, but we can change the nature of our community. And I just love thinking about how powerful that is to help one another.
It is. And it's just putting other people first. I had this happen. I was at the supermarket the other day, and I was at self-checkout, and I just had a couple of things. I ran in real quick to pick some stuff up. And there was a lady, she came up just behind me, right? And I thought, I was here first. It was close, but I was here first. And I look at her hands. She's just got a couple of items. I've got a few items more. And I said, do you want to go first? Would you like to go first? Yeah, and just made the offer. And she said, no, we're about the same. Just go ahead, but thank you. And there were smiles exchanged, right? It was not a big deal, but it was just putting myself in a spot to say, you can be first. I don't have to be in a big hurry. You can go ahead of me. If she had a need to, and sometimes it just makes people feel better. And it's little things like that, but making it as part of the team, putting it in a business perspective, Jim, it's interesting you brought that up. Last week in class, right, teaching high school students, I had brought in a letter of recommendation that I had a college professor had written for me when I graduated from college, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I brought in a military evaluation form from my last duty assignment in Hawaii, right? And that was another evaluation. And then I brought in an evaluation from a healthcare organization that I consulted with. And I read key points from those three different evaluations. So they went from being, a kid at 21 years old to 26 years old to a 39-year-old person. And the same core values, the same things were said each time. And it was about helping the teams and the people beneath me get better. It was noticeable in the classroom. It was noticeable in my duty assignments in the military. It was noticeable at work. Those things launch you forward. If they're a part of you and you focus on those, and again, it's value driven, it's your personal value driven, it will launch you ahead. And I saw, we were talking about soft skills just a moment ago. I saw a meme today that said, hard skills get you hired, soft skills get you promoted. So essential skills get you promoted, but those essential skills are in fact the ones that help other people.
Yeah.
Essential skills are putting other people first.
It's interesting. We just came off of Super Bowl Sunday. And if you think about, and I don't watch the game, I'm not just don't watch football, but I do understand how a football team operates. And when you look at people at that level, right, you've got a group of men fighting on the field to win the game, helping each other. Nobody on that team is going, that's not my job. And the best way I can explain that is if a linebacker gets through the linemen, right, on the offensive linemen, the rest of the team doesn't just stand back and let him go tackle the quarterback. You watch everybody try to get that guy so he doesn't get the quarterback. Everybody's helping, to save, the play, save the quarterback. And, if we can operate in business that way, right? Like, something has gotten through the line. Let's all lend a hand and get through this, right? Your workplace would be a different world for you. And you would see a tangible difference in the success, not only in your own success, but in the success of the company, because you can foster that sense of caring and that sense of helping one another to do well, instead of that selfishness of, well, I just got to look out for my own job. I just got to, I'm here for me. Right. So I'm just thinking about those teams out there playing at a top level. They get it. They're performing for each other.
They have to. That's why they don't have a one-man football team playing against an 11-man team.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. and sidebar for what we do and what I've encouraged people to look out for is they have a coach. They have a coach. They operate at the top level, but they still have a coach, and it's the coach that helps get them to the big game. Right. And if you're in business and you're not looking or actively pursuing a coach to be better, I would highly recommend it. And it's not because of what I do or what Rod and I do, the work that we're doing, that we're trying to solicit you to be in our group so we can coach you. I'm just saying, in general, you should be looking for a coach to take you to the next level. I've had a coach in my life, at least the last 8 business years. I wish I'd started sooner, but I've seen the value of that. And when selecting a coach, find somebody that's doing what you want to be doing or has done what you want to do and resonates with you and your personality and your values and your goals. And you've probably found the right one.
Yeah. And it starts with the alignment of values, obviously. Mm-hmm. But we can't see oftentimes what's right in front of us, because we're close to it. Our emotions get attached to it because we've been doing things a certain way, because that's how we process information. Even it's not, I'm not saying anything's wrong with it, but just the way we approach things based on our own personalities and learning styles, it benefits us to get that outside perspective. And if that's the only thing a coach can offer you is that outside perspective, that's not embroiled in the emotions of what you do, right? They're just looking at beneficial outcomes for what you do. That's priceless. You can't put a good price on that. You have to have that. The good word says there's safety in a multitude of counselors.
That's right.
There's also danger in getting the wrong ones. So make sure the values line up.
Well, look, this show is going to air midweek, and I would encourage you listening to the show to think about when you go to work tomorrow, or you interact with your family or your friends or your neighbors, how you can take on a personality of helping others first and foremost, and watch what happens not only to you, but to the people around you and the success that you will see. So, Rod, I'm going to wrap it up on my side with that. I don't know if you've got any closing thoughts, but I think this is important enough to leave it at that.
I think it is important enough. I will mention that here's a little, little tickler for tonight's call on Young Entrepreneur Syndicate. The topic is empathy. And that is something essential for business. And that's what we're talking about as well. So it ties right into the conversation you brought up today. So thanks, Jim. Appreciate it.
I'm always laying up those home runs for you there, Rod. So right on. Well, hey, if you enjoyed this show, please share it and let your friends know about us. If you want to become a member of the Young Entrepreneur Syndicate, you can find us on the web, or you can find it in the links in my bio on Instagram or Rod's Instagram. It's easy, youngentrepreneurs.syndicate.com. We'd love to have you. We've got a growing community. We've got a directory there for those that opt in where you can network with others and build up your own tool chest, or I should say war chest, of things that you need to be successful. So thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to pushing out some more shows for you.
All right. Thanks, Jim.